The United States quarter-dollar coin, commonly referred to as the Washington quarter, is a piece steeped in the broader narrative of American numismatics, history, and culture. Though it may at first appear as just a small, utilitarian object used for everyday transactions, it actually represents a significant legacy tied to both the country's founding ideals and the evolving design and production of American coinage. The obverse front of the 1974 quarter features the enduring portrait of George Washington, the first president of the United States, a design that has remained mostly unchanged since its initial introduction in 1932. This design, created by sculptor John Flanagan, was originally issued to commemorate the 200th anniversary of Washington's birth and became so iconic that it was adopted permanently for the denomination. On the 1974 quarter, Washington's left-facing profile is accompanied by the word liberty boldly inscribed above his head, a nod to the foundational American value that defined both the Revolutionary War and the spirit of independence that Washington personified. Beneath his chin, the national motto, "In God We Trust," is engraved, a statement of spiritual conviction and national identity that has been part of U.S. coinage for well over a century. The date, 1974, appears at the bottom of the obverse side, denoting the year of minting, which in this case was during a time of political turmoil and transition in American history, marked by the Watergate scandal and the looming resignation of President Richard Nixon. The reverse, back, of the 1974 quarter features a majestic bald eagle with outstretched wings, perched on a bundle of arrows, a traditional symbol of strength and readiness for war, while olive branches below symbolize the pursuit of peace. This reverse design, also by John Flanagan, had been in place since the quarter's redesign in 1932 and continued through 1998 before the state quarters program began in 1999. The inscriptions United States of America and E Pluribus Unum, out of many one, arch above the eagle, affirming the unity of the nation. The denomination, quarter dollar, is clearly marked below the eagle, making its value unmistakable. The 1974 quarter was struck at 3 different U.S. mints: Philadelphia, no mint mark; Denver, D; and San Francisco, S. Circulating quarters from Philadelphia and Denver were minted in large quantities, over 350 million combined, while the San Francisco Mint primarily produced proof coins for collectors using specially prepared dies and planchets. These proof versions are highly sought after by numismatists for their mirror-like finish and detail. The coin is composed of a copper-nickel clad, meaning it consists of a pure copper core sandwiched between 2 layers of copper-nickel alloy, resulting in a silvery appearance. This clad composition replaced the former 90% silver standard in 1965 as a cost-saving measure following a rise in silver prices and increased demand for coinage. The 1974 quarter has a diameter of 24.26 millimeters, a thickness of 1.75 millimeters, and weighs 5.67 grams, consistent with all clad Washington quarters of the era. While most 1974 quarters hold only face value in circulated condition due to their high mintage and commonality, coins in uncirculated or mint state condition, particularly MS-65 or higher, may fetch a modest premium from collectors. Proof coins from San Francisco, marked with an S, are also collected for their sharp details and pristine surfaces. Errors such as off-center strikes, double dies, or clipped planchets may significantly enhance a 1974 quarter's value. Historically, the year 1974 was a pivotal one in U.S. history. The nation was grappling with the aftermath of the Vietnam War, an energy crisis, rising inflation, and political scandal. The Watergate investigation was intensifying, with revelations that would eventually lead to Nixon's resignation in August 1974, the first and only resignation of a U.S. president. Against this turbulent backdrop, the quarter continued to serve as a small but consistent element of American daily life, unchanged in design, providing a reassuring symbol of continuity and tradition amid social and political upheaval. Collectors and historians alike find the 1974 quarter compelling not because it is particularly rare, but because it represents a nation at a crossroads, caught between its foundational ideals and modern challenges. The coin's enduring design, consistent composition, and widespread circulation all contribute to its narrative as a coin of the people, easily found in pocket change yet still rich in symbolic value. In numismatic circles, it's often used as a benchmark to assess grading standards or to educate new collectors on the basics of U.S. coinage. Though billions of these coins exist, each one tells a story, not only of its origin at a particular mint, but also of the hands it has passed through over decades. For many Americans, a 1974 quarter is more than just 25 cents. It's a fragment of a shared national experience, linking past generations to the present next top. The 1967 United States quarter dollar, bearing the inscriptions United States of America, Liberty, quarter dollar, and the date 1967, represents not only a vital part of U.S. coinage history, but also a reflection of the transitional era in American numismatics during the mid-20th century. This coin, part of the Washington Quarter series, features the iconic portrait of George Washington, the first president of the United States, on the obverse front side. The bust of Washington was originally designed in 1932 by sculptor John Flanagan, commemorating the bicentennial of Washington's birth. This portrait has remained a cornerstone of U.S. quarters for decades, with only occasional redesigns for special programs. Around Washington's profile are the inscriptions Liberty, above, In God We Trust to the left, and the year 1967 below. The reverse back of the coin, also designed by Flanagan, displays a bold and regal heraldic eagle with outstretched wings, clutching a bundle of arrows, symbolizing strength and military readiness. Beneath the eagle are two olive branches denoting peace, while above it are the words United States of America and the Latin motto E pluribus unum, meaning out of many one. Below the eagle is the denomination quarter dollar. The 1967 quarter holds particular historical significance due to its placement within the clad coinage era following the Coinage Act of 1965. Prior to this legislation, U.S. quarters were composed of 90% silver and 10% copper. However, due to rising silver prices and a growing coin shortage in the early 1960s, Congress authorized the minting of coins with a copper-nickel clad composition, an outer layer of 75% copper and 25% nickel bonded to an inner core of pure copper. This change applied to dimes, quarters, and eventually half dollars, and it marked the end of circulating silver coinage. Therefore, the 1967 quarter was struck entirely without silver, consisting of copper-nickel clad, and weighs approximately 5.67 grams with a diameter of 24.26 millimeters. These coins were produced at the Philadelphia Mint, but notably, no mint marks were used on quarters in 1967 due to the Treasury Department's policy during this period to deter coin hoarding. The Mint temporarily suspended mint marks from 1965 through 1967 to stabilize coin circulation. In terms of production, the 1967 quarter saw an extremely high mintage, with over 1.5 billion coins struck, making it very common even today. These coins were struck using high-speed presses and modernized minting technology. They were also released in special mint sets, SMS, instead of traditional proof sets for collectors, as proof coin production had also been halted from 1965 to 1967. The SMS coins were struck with higher quality than circulation coins but were not quite proof quality. These sets can be identified by their more polished and detailed appearance and are sought after by collectors, especially when in high grades. SMS versions of the 1967 quarter often exhibit characteristics like frosted devices and mirrored fields, especially those graded as SP, specimen proof, 65 or higher by professional grading services. In terms of numismatic value, most 1967 quarters in circulated condition are worth only face value, 25 cents, due to their abundance and lack of silver content. However, collectors do value uncirculated or high-grade SMS examples. Exceptional specimens graded MS 67 or higher by third-party grading companies like PeaceGS or NGC can command modest premiums, sometimes reaching $30 to $100 or more, depending on appeal and condition. SMS quarters with deep cameo contrast or rare die varieties may also attract additional interest. One particularly interesting element of the 1967 quarter is the absence of major errors or varieties widely recognized in the coin community. However, minor striking anomalies like double dies, die cracks, or off-center strikes occasionally surface and can increase a coin's value among error collectors. Culturally, the Washington quarter has long been a staple of American pocket change, vending machines, toll booths, and laundromats. The 1967 coin represents a time of national change, both politically and economically, during the Vietnam War era and amid significant civil rights movements. As a circulating artifact, this coin passed through the hands of millions of Americans during a turbulent yet transformative period in U.S. history. Today, holding a 1967 quarter provides not just a tangible link to that era, but also a glimpse into the evolution of American coinage policies and practices. Although not rare, it remains a relevant and educational coin for beginning collectors, historians, and numismatists interested in 20th century U.S. currency. Next up. The 1986 United States quarter dollar, bearing the inscriptions United States of America, quarter dollar, Liberty, and the year 1986, along with the D mint mark signifying production at the Denver Mint, is a quintessential example of late 20th century American coinage during a pivotal transitional era in U.S. history. This quarter is part of the Washington Quarter series, which began in 1932 to commemorate the 200th birthday of George Washington, the first president of the United States. The obverse front design of the coin features a left-facing portrait of George Washington, based on a bust sculpted by French neoclassical artist Jean-Antoine Houdon. This image was engraved by John Flanagan, whose initials JF appear at the base of Washington's neck. Surrounding the portrait are the inscriptions Liberty above Washington's head, In God We Trust to the left, and the date 1986 at the bottom. Just above the date appears the small but significant D mint mark, indicating the coin was struck at the Denver Mint, one of the primary facilities of the U.S. Mint, known for its high output of circulating coinage. The reverse back of the 1986 quarter, unchanged since the series' inception in 1932 and lasting until the introduction of the 50-state quarters in 1999, showcases a proud American bald eagle, the national bird and symbol of the United States. The eagle is depicted perched on a bundle of arrows, symbolizing military readiness, while an olive branch lies beneath, representing the nation's desire for peace. The composition, created by Flanagan, is framed by the inscription United States of America across the top edge and the denomination quarter dollar across the bottom. Just above the eagle, the motto E pluribus unum, out of many one, is inscribed, affirming the unity of the diverse states that comprise the nation. The overall design balances neoclassical elegance with clear national symbolism. In terms of composition, the 1986 D quarter belongs to the clad era of U.S. coinage, which began in 1965 after the country moved away from using silver in circulating coins due to rising metal costs. As such, this quarter is made of a copper-nickel clad composition. A core of pure copper is sandwiched between two layers of cupronickel, 75% copper, 25% nickel. The resulting coin has a silvery appearance, though its edges reveal a copper strip, a telltale sign of its clad construction. Each coin has a diameter of 24.26 millimeters, a thickness of 1.75 millimeters, and weighs approximately 5.67 grams. The reeded edge, consisting of 119 grooves, was historically implemented as an anti-counterfeiting measure and to prevent the shaving of precious metals from coins during the era of silver coinage. The 1986 D quarter was minted in significant numbers. Approximately 504 million coins were struck at the Denver Mint that year, making it quite common in circulation. It was a time when coinage production was high to support a growing economy. The mid-1980s marked a period of economic recovery following the stagflation of the 1970s and early 1980s. Ronald Reagan was serving his second term as President of the United States in 1986, advocating for conservative fiscal policies, deregulation, and a robust military. Domestically, 1986 also witnessed key historical moments, such as the Space Shuttle Challenger disaster, the Iran-Contra affair revelations, and advancements in technology and globalization. While these events do not directly influence coin design, they frame the broader cultural and historical atmosphere in which this quarter was minted and used. In terms of numismatic value, the 1986 D quarter remains a circulating issue with modest collector interest unless it appears in exceptional condition. Circulated examples are generally worth face value, 25 cents, but uncirculated coins, particularly those graded MS, 65 or higher by third-party grading services such as PCGS or NGC, may fetch a small premium, ranging from $1 to $10, depending on eye appeal, strike quality, and luster. Coins with full strike details and no visible wear or bag marks are the most desirable. Additionally, collectors might seek special varieties or errors, such as double dies, off-center strikes, or clipped planchets, which can substantially increase a coin's value, though such varieties are rare for this particular year. From a numismatic and historical perspective, the 1986 D Washington quarter represents a mature phase in the life of a long-running series that had become deeply embedded in American daily life. Though its design had remained unchanged for decades, the series' familiarity and patriotic symbolism ensured its continued resonance with the public. The coin's design, materials, and minting technology reflect the standards of the U.S. Mint at the time, a mix of tradition and adaptation to modern economic realities. It would not be until 1999 that the Washington quarter design would be dramatically altered with the launch of the 50-state quarters program, which reinvigorated public interest in U.S. coin collecting by introducing new reverse designs for each of the 50 states. In conclusion, the 1986 D quarter dollar is more than just a piece of currency. It is a tangible artifact of its time, carrying with it both the legacy of America's founding ideals through the image of George Washington and the practical realities of modern coinage. Its high mintage and clad composition reflect the economic pragmatism of the era, while its enduring design speaks to the symbolic power of American iconography. For collectors and everyday users alike, it serves as a silent witness to the lives, transactions, and historical backdrop of a transformative decade in U.S. history. Next top. The 1988 D Washington quarter is a 25-cent coin struck by the United States Mint in Denver, Colorado, identifiable by the D mint mark located on the obverse front of the coin, just to the right of President George Washington's ribbon ponytail. This coin forms part of the long-running Washington quarter series, which began in 1932 to commemorate the bicentennial of Washington's birth and continued until 1998, before being replaced in 1999 by the 50-state quarters program. The obverse design features a left-facing portrait of George Washington, modeled after a bust by Jean-Antoine Houdon, and was sculpted by John Flanagan, a respected engraver of the early 20th century. The inscriptions on the obverse include Liberty, above Washington's head, the motto, In God We Trust, to the left of his profile, the mint mark D for Denver, and the year of issue, 1988, at the bottom. The reverse side of the coin presents a stately American bald eagle with outstretched wings perched on a bundle of arrows, symbolizing readiness for war, while below it lies an olive branch, representing the hope for peace. Around the reverse rim are the inscriptions, United States of America at the top, the national motto, E Pluribus Unum, just above the eagle, and quarter dollar along the bottom. The 1988 D quarter was struck in a copper-nickel clad composition, a copper core layered with an alloy of 75% copper and 25% nickel, standard for circulating quarters since 1965, after the U.S. Mint ceased using silver in regular coinage. The coin weighs 5.67 grams, measures 24.26 millimeters in diameter, and has a reeded, grooved edge. Denver produced over 596 million quarters in 1988, making this a common coin with little rarity in circulated condition, though uncirculated or high-grade examples certified by professional grading services such as PCGS or NGC can be of interest to collectors, especially in mint state grades MS, 66, and above. Some minor varieties, errors, or die cracks exist and are sometimes sought after by specialized numismatists, though most 1988 D quarters hold primarily face value unless in pristine condition. Coins in original mint packaging, or those included in official U.S. Mint uncirculated sets, may also carry a slight premium, especially when preserved well. Economically, the 1988 D-quarter reflects a period of American history marked by the end of the Cold War, the final year of Ronald Reagan's presidency, and a flourishing era of coin collecting. As with other quarters of this era, the design remained consistent, signaling the stability of American iconography and enduring reverence for founding fathers like Washington. Though overshadowed in numismatic interest by later quarters featuring state and national park designs, the 1988 D-quarter remains an important part of U.S. coinage history, serving not only as a means of commerce, but as a reflection of national identity. For casual collectors, it's a reminder of the past. For historians and numismatists, it is part of a lineage of monetary design and historical continuity, bridging the transition from traditional designs to the more innovative coin programs of the late 20th and early 21st centuries.